Should we down the rest? Oh, you're fucking naughty. Go on then. I know people that haven't even got a mirror and had a look. Today in our fabulous studio, we've got a special guest, Chi-Chi. And the amazing illustrator, Venus Libido. How are you?
I'm great. I'm glad to be here with you guys.
We're super pleased that you are here.
Wow, I have some gifts I brought for you today.
Love gifts.
It goes with my brand. It's the penis candle.
And ours. let's just get a close with both of us with the penis candle. That might be the most amazing candle I've ever seen in my life.
I'm thinking of changing the name of the pink ones to the Trump candles, like Trump dick.
Oh, nice. I think because it's smaller than that, to be honest.
It should be.
I think because it's smaller than that. I think it's got smaller balls. I really don't know what's in here, so we don't know what we're going to open.
It's just a little something to brighten up.
Just a little summer shot. Oh my god, that's so amazing.
This one's, I think it's called Face Pill. It's just like taking the piss out of like all these like makeup fads and these skin removal.
I love this one. This one's literally me if I like did my hair pink today.
Yeah, this is me like most nights, just naked and eating pizza
and brown.
And wine. Yeah.
This might literally be me in a few hours actually.
Yeah.
It's Friday, isn't it?
And this
oh my god, these are so cool.
This one is one of my favourites. It's called Future Self Pleasure. So it's how I view we will be like pleasuring ourselves in the future. We won't need men, just like
in the future. This was me yesterday.
But like with
I'm joking.
Like, everything.
We know that we're going to have loads of people that follow Elsie and Fred who are huge Venus Libido fans. Your work, the message, everything you're doing. How did you even get into illustration?
Well, I was actually a sculptor, so that's what I studied as a degree. And then when I left uni, I realised there was no fucking way I was going to be able to live off doing sculptures. I worked in London for like a couple of years, just doing like artsy jobs, and then I had like a massive mental breakdown. And then started drawing because I just was like, how do I get all of this madness out of my head? And the only way I know how to project things is through artistically. And I was like, okay, so I just started drawing, and then it just became. I just started posting them on Instagram, and people really related to it, and they really liked it. Yeah.
When did you start on Instagram? When was like your first posting of your new illustration type art?
It was in 2017.
Oh wow, that's really recent.
Yeah. So
that's literally snowballed then.
Yeah, it's just I think it's for me it's just really important to keep drawing like real life scenarios and actually drawing what happens to me and making sure it's real.
So you said your work reflects your personal irritation and bitterness that has stemmed from experiences of misogyny. Elaborate.
So every job I had, when I left university, I was underpaid. I was not paid the same as my male colleagues.
And this is in London, isn't it? You're London-based place.
London-based. And I started noticing a pattern. So every job I was like, okay, can I have more money? My manager would make up some lame-ass excuse like, no, you can't quite lift as much as he can, or, you know, you're just a bit too young, and just some crap.
Even though it had nothing to do with the actual art you were making or any of that.
You know, I was at the same level as these guys and I was still not being paid the same.
That's bullshit.
It was fucking bullshit. And it was happening. I did like maybe 5 different jobs when I left uni, and it happened in every single one.
Really?
And then the last job I had before I became an illustrator, I was a decorator, like a specialist decorator.
Sorry, a specialist decorator.
Yes.
Do you say things that's like, excuse me?
Like this, really.
Like installation type thing.
So we'd basically go to rich people's houses, like, I don't know if I should say names, like Cartier's house.
I think you can drop that one in.
Yeah.
That was fine.
Like people who had millions.
God.
And they would pay us to come in and paint fake marble and paint gold on their walls, or create fake brickwork.
Of course people do that, but I'd never thought that people actually did it. But of course people do that stuff.
They've got nothing else to spend their money on.
Basically, before they show it on cribs, you'd go in and paint the marble. Pretty
much. So I did that, and that job destroyed me because, one, I wasn't being paid, and I was bloody good at what I was doing. And I was actually at a level where I was in control of an entire team, and I was still being paid less than the men below me.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was a joke. And then like sexual harassment started to creep in on that job as well, and it wasn't taken seriously. And one day a girl was sexually assaulted on site, and our manager didn't do anything about it. And I just thought, do you know what? I've seen so much of this over the last couple of years. I did not expect. And this was at a time where women weren't really talking about it on Instagram.
Which was literally only like 4 years ago.
Yeah, so this was about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And nobody was talking about it, and I didn't understand that it was wrong. I didn't understand what I could do. I didn't know I could speak up. And instead of speaking up and saying this is wrong, I just said nothing and quit my job that I loved.
Yeah.
And went into like a massive depressive state. And I just thought, well, life's shit, and no one cares about women and their bodies, and no one's going to pay me equally, and I never have any money. And
it's the reality of it, because I've been working now for what? many years. I've been working for like 15 years, and you're right. Like I used to call it being foraged, and that's only literally stopped like 2-3 years ago, where I can actually say, "Excuse me, like what are you doing?" Like, you know, even simple things like we used to have a shop in Brixton, and simple thing like, "Oh, my roof fell through," and everyone said it definitely wouldn't be your neighbour. You know, that was a man. It definitely hasn't been his fitting of the building that's led to any of this destruction, and it was just definitely me. And it was definitely that, and I was standing there thinking like, what the actual fuck? And it's kind of like when you're backed into a corner and you're not angry, you're hysterical. Yeah. Or you haven't got a point to make, you're hormonal. Yeah. Or do you know what I mean?
It's blamed on like your physical.
To blame on my femaleness, rather than the fact that I know I'm an adult that gets shit done, so I don't know why the fact that I have a vulva would change it. Like artists and stuff, the rise of the female artists and all the artists across Instagram, which has been like a great platform to like showcase everyone. Your stuff in particular that stands out is quite taboo, such as masturbation, which I don't know why is taboo. We talk about boys wanking like my whole life, but yeah. So is there a reason behind that? Are you trying to like push it a bit, or is it just what's in your head? Or
I think it's just what's in my head. But I think I've grown up in an environment where everyone talks about anything in my house. It's very very loud, and you know, talking about sex and masturbation and everything is just very open. So I guess I don't shy away from those topics. Yeah, and
it's very un-English of you.
Yeah, and I think even from the beginning, I was so angry about things that I didn't give a shit what I was putting out. But it's weird though, because now I've got a bit of a following. I do have to be careful. I guess I do kind of like
feel a degree of responsibility.
Yeah, I think about what I put out more now. Yeah, it can be damaging to some people, and you don't realise it is. It's just what you're thinking. I mean, my mum brought me up to be very open and to talk about things and to trust your instincts. And when there's an issue, let's talk about it. You know, if you're brought up in a family where you can't talk about that in front of me, what are you doing? Then kids are going to turn to something else.
They definitely are, especially when your parents
are. It's not healthy.
That can go from periods to sexual experiences to no one's even getting close to like masturbation. Let's be real with them. I mean, so you're right. All those things that we should be talking about.
My brother walked in my room the other day and my vibrator was on charge. And he went, "Is that a vibrator?" I went, "Yeah." "Oh, okay, cool."
Yours charges?
Oh yeah, it's
pop me up. Excuse the pun.
It's a new womanizer one, but
mate, them AA batteries from Pound Shop do not last very long. No. Yeah. Because do you know what, girl? I know it does make you uncomfortable, but masturbation, I think some things have to be spoke about, because like we should be doing it, because I don't know how you can expect a man to be able to do anything and or a woman and have successful relationships when you really don't know anything about your own body. I know people that haven't even got a mirror and had a look.
Really?
Yeah, how could you not have had a look?
Oh my god. As soon as I knew what was down there, I was like, alright, what else is down there? How far can I go?
Oh, let me try and bring it back to some form of question. Is there anything you've found with being an artist on Instagram that's like been an obstacle in what the message you're trying to get? Like you were saying, like, you might not have to be as honest because the audience might be different or more impressionable.
Yeah. I think my biggest obstacle is because of what I draw, it's very hard to get the work. I found it very hard to get representation because companies are, it's a bit too, risky, and that's the only obstacle I would say that I have, is finding companies that want to work with me because of what I draw.
It's so funny because I bet there's lots of people like you that are like I was saying, pushing the envelope, going out there, being the voice of everything we need right now. This is like current society, but at the same time, the big brands aren't quite ready to be like, all right, you know what, we're going to do this, because you could be considered quite niche. Like, I saw you've done some work with some like sex toy companies and stuff, and right now they're the only ones that have got the balls.
I think it's the only way to grab attention from like the younger audiences is to make it like shocking.
Huge brands, higher Venus Libido. You saw the art she gave us today. I know that it's better than what you've got going on. We're not looking at yours, we're looking at her. All right, what's the best advice you've been given in your like field, or as a woman, as a human?
I think to be loud, to really make sure you remember you have a voice in a space full of men. My mum always says to me, if you speak the loudest, you'll be heard.
Oh, I like that. I like your mum.
Yeah, my mum's ace. Like she grew up and her dad tried to force her to be a model, and she was like, no, I'm not having any of this. And then she like spent all of her career being an ice hockey player, playing for like on men's teams as well. She's like, I haven't got time to play with women. I want to play with the men. So yeah, she like was an ice hockey for like 20 years. So yeah, she's like a tough cookie. And I suppose
it's been part of your conditioning to have all that amazing like upbringing of openness and nothing's off the table discussion wise. And
yeah, I think it's really important. Yeah. To just be open about everything, especially sex. Yeah,
I think we really need to talk about sex. Funny enough, I heard a stat the other day. Well, they've really used statistics, haven't they, about young people? So the stats is that in comparison to 2009, I think teenage pregnancy is down 60%. Don't quote my numbers. It was a good number. This
is very stupid. I probably think because of the weather. Like when I was younger, I was always out on the streets. Everyone was having sex in bushes, but probably it's too cold for people to do that.
Yeah, everyone was having sex in bushes. They were having sex in bushes. They were having sex in bushes. They were having sex down slopes when the grass was long. So, have you got any like fun collaborations on the horizon? Anything planned? What's going on with you?
Currently working with Elsie, which is really cool. Yeah, so I'm really excited because I literally wore all their stuff when I was a kid. They've got like a new campaign called My Style, My Rules.
Okay, nice.
So they basically gave me some clothes and told me to go photograph myself in it and...
no pressure.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing, like, just go and make these clothes look really good.
Just go and make yourself look really cool and not awkward and shit. So yeah, no, it was really good because it's just basically about owning your style and what you wear, and it's really good. I love them so much. They're a cool brand.
Anything else you got on the horizon?
So we've got an International Women's Day event on the 24th of March.
That was the 24th of March.
Yeah, so you can look on my Instagram and see all about that, which is going to be amazing.
What is it? What's the situation?
It's going to be at the Curtain in London, and there's going to be some goodie bags, including from Elsie, and there's going to be lots of stalls with lots of cool magazines and brands. The whole event is about the whole balance for better, and we really wanted to include men in the conversation because we can't have balance without them.
I totally agree. All these movements can really go too far if they're not part of the solution and the conversation. If they're not part of the conversation, then there's no solution because they're just pushed out and we've just done the same thing somewhere else. If everyone's inclusive in the problem, then we can all find like an answer together, a solution together.
Yeah.
So that was the 24th of March at the
Curtain.
The Curtain.
1 till 6. So there's going to be some workshops as well on. There's a gaming workshop, there's going to be a workshop on like body positivity, plus there's some plus size models that are going to be doing that, they're amazing. And there's going to be 2 panel talks, and it's going to be a mixture of men and women and non-binary people. And so we've got Ryan.
Ryan, is that Ryan from Elsie and Fred?
It's basically an event where there's going to be something for everyone, not just women.
Anything? What are you up to the rest of the day and the weekend?
I'm going to go get a tattoo after this.
Casual? Well, let's just stop right there. Where are you going to get it done? What are you getting done? And where on your body?
So I've got a little French bulldog, which I'm sure anyone who follows me knows about him, so I'm constantly posting him. He's so cute. And I'm getting his face.
As cute as Chichi. Probably cuter, I'm sure. Like whereabouts? There?
Yeah, like up the top. Like a Medusa down here.
Oh, I love her. She's scary, I love her. Yeah. She can imagine how many vibrators she could hold. And everyone. What music are you into?
I like anything.
Yeah.
I really like jazz. I just like everything.
What do you like to draw to?
I like silence.
You like silence?
I do really like old R&B though, and garage is mine.
I'm going to a garage brunch for my friend. Yeah, which I don't know if I'm fully into. Yeah, you'll eat chicken, yes.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
What a bass sign!
What a bass sign!
What a bass sign! What a bass sign!
Me and this is my uni girls. This is our garage dance. I'm broken without your love.
Oh yeah, I went to a garage night like at Christmas. Oh yes!
Where are my garage girls?
Oh my god. Crank it up.
Thank you for the garage.
Oh, yeah. I went to a garage night like in December, and there was like DJ Oxide. Is it Oxide?
Yeah.
They were
Bam,
there.
bam, bam, for the very low.
They were there, and then like 3 other DJs, but there's like 10 good garage songs, and they all played them.
Oh,
So it's just
what a
constantly
dream.
listening to the same one. Oh, I fucking loved
Oh,
it.
I fucking love it. I love it.
I was like, yeah, again, play it again and again and again.
I didn't like it when the whole genre started going to sweet like chocolate type way. I didn't like that, and I didn't love that T2 thing.
Venus, sun or moon?
Sun.
Favorite holiday destination?
Barbados.
Favorite Instagram account?
Kitty Underhill.
Orita.
Inspiration in life?
Fuck no. I never drink vodka.
It's tequila.
Is it tequila?
Obviously a bad one. Oh, I can smell it.
Both of you take a drink.
Michael Douglas said he actually caught throat cancer from giving someone cunnilingus. Like, how could anyone's leggy bits give you throat cancer? Cunnilingus. Don't.
Sounds
not
like a
telling you
place.
that.
Hey,
It
louder.
does sound like a place. And I'm just going to cunnilingus. Michael Douglas.
It's next to Bolton Regis.
Yeah. Mate, I'm literally on her fucking shoulder.
Don't ask me geography questions.
Sure.
Eurasia or Duran Duran?
Oh, Erasure. But do you know what? Duran Duran are actually better than their videos. So for Duran Duran, we're sorry.
Too many dunnos.
You're going to be filling up in a minute. Oh, but what the answer is anyway?
Mine's Heath Ledger.
He's Australian.
No, he's not, is he?
What's the best thing you've ever watched on YouTube?
Dog videos.
Favourite thing on YouTube for the past year is Hi Stranger, which is some weird morphe, lies on its stomach and it goes, hi.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And like, you can look at my bum. Whole thing is so fucking off key and weird.
What bit of advice would you actually give to somebody else starting in your field on Instagram right now?
Do what you want to do. You know, whatever you're making, whatever you're creating, whatever you're putting out into the world, make sure it comes from you and it's not from somebody else.
Advice I'd give to someone starting anything is don't underestimate the amount of work you're going to do. Make sure it's definitely not for the people because that's futile. Do honestly though, do what you want to do. Like people are so embarrassed and ashamed of it all the time, and I think it's really amazing that she can do like this stuff and like put it out there. And I don't know, I just feel a lot more comfortable seeing imperfect women of ethnicity on art. I'm just really enjoying this new space we're in where everyone's just saying what they want to say.
Dog's bumhole is literally, I've been looking at it the whole time. It's really, really like
Your dog's blessed.
This is why we're allowed to really confused.
I like tequila. I
Hey.
want to feel it.
Hey, boy, blood, you look like Ian Beeler.
You look like Ian Beeler. You're a lemon squeezer.
Not an orange peeler. Favourite thing to binge to on Netflix?
Something where someone gets killed on
That kind
murder.
of stuff as well, massive. I
I
don't
just
know
want to
why.
prepare myself.
What's the last thing you did for yourself?
Myself, I yogurt on Wednesday. It was lush.
Masturbated.
My girl.
Make up a handshake between yourselves right now.
So what was it? It was like. I mean, to be honest, that was pretty dope for the time given.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received in a sentence?
What is the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
And I say that one quickly, but you're supposed to think, what is it?
You might die tomorrow, so fucking do it.
We've been on the tequila. No, it's really nice to meet you properly. We have met before, I won't lie.
Yeah.
It was really nice to sit and chat. This was really fun. You don't get much better Fridays than that,
No.
I don't think.
Should we down the rest?
Oh, you're
Yeah,
fucking naughty.
do
Go on
it.
then.
Okay.
Woo!
Woo! I couldn't do it in one. I
Thanks.
think I am four.
Oh, I think you did too. Thank you, Venus Libido! The space will be fall off my chair now, but it's not.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And cut!